In this video I'll be making some bedside cabinets or nightstands. So what I have here is some lengths of sapele and some birch plywood. Oh, and also the pallet that it all came on, which has quite a lot of useful timber on it itself. Usually I start each project with many hours of milling, so it's going to be a nice treat for me to work with planed all-round timber. These 20mm thick boards will be used for the side panels of my nightstands, and I can get them cut to length at the miter saw. And I have some thicker 30mm boards for the top and bottom panels, and I'll explain why I wanted the extra thickness later in the video. One of the boards was quarter sawn, so it has those lovely ribbons of grain which I really like in sapele, and the other I assume is plain sawn as it has more of an interesting grain pattern. The thinner boards I'm using for the side panels were both quarter sawn, so that means I can have both the lovely ribbons visible on the sides and the more interesting grain visible for the tops. These boards just need gluing together, and I'm being careful to try to match the grain as best as possible to hide the join so that it gives the appearance of being one board rather than two glued together. I let them sit for a few hours before taking them out of the clamps, and then I sanded at 80 and 120 grit just to get the joins nice and flush. And as you can see, the joins are pretty much invisible on all of the boards at this point, which is nice. I'm going to use dominoes to join the carcass together. By the way, I have plans and a cut list available for this project, which will be available at the link in the description box below, and if you're a channel member via Patreon or YouTube channel membership, they will be free of charge. It was a cold day, so I kept the glue in my pocket just to keep it warm. And if you don't have a domino, this could be assembled with dowels or pretty much any other method of joinery that you like, really. So reason number one for the thicker top and bottom panels is that there is more material for the dominoes to hold on to, which will make it nice and strong. After adding some parallel clamps and wiping away the excess glue, I can just check it's square, and it's bob on. So the plan was to use some of this lovely birch plywood to make the drawers. However, as I've also got some of this stuff that came from the pallet that the plywood came on, and it's pretty clean really, other than a few screw holes, but they can get cut away anyway. And these are a much easier size to manhandle, so I'm going to use this to make the drawers. I'll probably still need to use some of the birch ply, but I think making drawers from this stuff is a perfect use for it really. It just wouldn't have been a rag and bone brown project if I hadn't have used some reclaimed timber, would it? So I cut away the bits with the screw holes, and this stuff I think is engineered flooring with a thick oak veneer, and I'm measuring two bits together so that I can figure out what size to make my drawer boxes. I also need to allow 13mm either side of my drawers, so 26mm in total for the drawer runners that I'll be using. And then I can rip these pieces down to what I want the height of the drawer boxes to be at the table saw. I'm going to cut a housing groove for the bottom panel of my drawers, so I'm going to fit my 6mm flat tooth groove cutting blade. I'll leave a link to this in the description box if you're interested. I set the height of the blade to cut roughly halfway into my drawer sides and make the cuts. At this point I fitted my normal blade again with the fence still set in the same position so that I can rip down the back panel of the drawers, which will give me access to add the bottom panel. And I'm going to assemble the drawers upside down on a flat surface, just with glue and brad nails, and then clamping squares and clamps until the glue sets. And I cut down some of the 6mm birch ply for the drawer bottoms. So it's the next day now, and I've just realised I made a really stupid mistake yesterday. I can't believe I didn't notice it yesterday actually. Sorry about my voice, by the way. I've got COVID at the moment. But anyway, two of the drawers I made using the 12mm birch ply as opposed to the 15mm oak-faced floorboards, and I didn't account for the difference in size, which was really silly. So that means two of my drawers are now ever so slightly narrower than the other two. My solution to this was just to find a couple of thin offcuts, which I always keep hold of as they're useful as shims, and two of these will make up the difference in size, so I can get these glued to the sides of the smaller drawers, and by the time the drawer runners are fitted, no one's gonna know. I applied some candle wax to the edges of the ply as I knew it would be a snug fit in the housing grooves. and a single screw secures the bottom to the back panel. Next I can fit the drawer runners. These are the ball bearing style ones. I'll leave links to these in the description box. I used a spacer to fit the runner in the Carcass. And another to space the next drawer above it. And they fitted nicely. Here I'm just using a hand plane to flush up the edges. And then I can get all of my sanding done, and I really should have sanded the drawers before adding the runners, but never mind. So I want these nightstands to complement the bed I made in a previous video, which I'll link to in the description box. And that bed frame had a heavy bevel on the legs, which I really liked the look of, and because I have a nice thick top and bottom panel, I'm going to add the same size bevel to these to match the bed. I had to use the plunge base on my router for this, as it has a bigger opening, and this chamfer bit that I'm using is so big. And that meant that I couldn't hook up dust extraction, unfortunately. And this is where some people will already be writing in the comments that I should be wearing safety glasses, and yes, I should wear them, but they fog up instantly when you wear a mask as well, and it makes things even less safe when you can't see what you're doing. I took this in 2 passes as I want the bevel to be half the thickness of the top, so 15mm. Yet more sanding, this time up to 180 grit, and then I stamped the bottom with my maker's mark. So I've been experimenting with some finishes on an offcut here, and originally I was going to apply shellac first, and that's this one here. Quite like it, but it wasn't very dark, so I've mixed in a bit of dark oak stain with the shellac over here, and I really like that one. It's shimmering really nicely, and once I apply a top coat over that, it's going to look really nice. With shellac, you want to work quickly when brushing it on, as you want to maintain a wet edge at all times because it cures so quickly. So I get it on as fast as I can and then wipe away the excess. So that stain has raised the grain slightly, and I'm just going to denib with some 600 grit paper. For the top coat I use, you're not supposed to sand over, I think it's 180 grit, but the way I see it, I'm not really changing the sanding scratches on the surface by denibbing with such a high grit paper. So I'm just going to go over it really lightly. The top coat I'm using is a hard wax oil. I'll leave a link to this in the description box, and for this I brush it on as thinly as possible, let it set for 10 to 15 minutes so that it soaks in a bit, and then rub away the excess. And it looks so nice. This finish has quite a matte look and feel, but it really makes the grain pop. So I'm doing things in the wrong order yet again here. Really should have done this before adding finish, but it doesn't really matter too much. I'm using a rebate bit to create space for a back panel. And I found some 4mm hardwood ply that I can use for this. I've got this circle template which I can use to find the perfect size to shape the corners of the back panel. And it gets glued and pinned in place. So when I made the bed, I cut down some beech slats to go on the headboard and footboard, and I really liked the way that that looked, and I had plenty of the slats left over too, so I'm going to use these to clad my drawer fronts. These slats have probably warped a bit since I milled them up, so I spent some time with a hand plane getting them straight again. They don't need to be perfect, just close really. And I'm also just going to add a small bevel to the edges using my block plane. So now for the drawer fronts, and I pulled out another piece of 4mm ply and I ripped it down at the table saw to just a few inches bigger than the size of my openings at the front of the carcasses. This is going to be a backing board for the slats. I marked up a 45-degree angle for reference and started gluing the slats in place using spacers between and weighing them down until the glue set. Once dry, I can add the last few bits to complete the panels. And then when that was set, I used the track saw to cut it to the size of the openings. And then I simply glued it onto the drawer boxes as one big panel, using PVA glue for strength and hot glue for speed, and some 2mm shims at the bottom just to get my spacings looking even all the way around. I can then get some clamps on there until the glue dries. After a few hours I can remove both drawers, and then I applied some masking tape so that I can make a cut with the track saw to give me the perfect spacing between the two drawers for each cabinet. And it also means I have a nice continuous wood grain pattern between each drawer, which I think is a nice feature. I just need to sand over the sharp edges, and then I applied acrylic spray varnish. I didn't want to use an oil-based finish here, as it'd make the beach turn orange, which is not a good look in my opinion. I denibbed with 400 grit and applied a second and final coat. I had some of these vintage brass handles which I bought on eBay a while back, and before I fit these I'm going to shine them up with some 4/0 steel wool. I love these handles. They would have come from some Art Deco or mid-century piece originally, I should imagine. And some brass washers on the inside just for some added bling. I'm really pleased with how this project is coming along, but because the video is getting quite long, I'll do a separate video about the legs, because I think it'll be a good video to cover how I go about figuring out awkward angles and how to make those cuts. So stay tuned for that, and please subscribe if you haven't already. Just a reminder that I have plans and a cut list available for this bedside table project, link in the description box below. Please subscribe to the channel for more videos if you'd like to help support the channel, plus get early access to the videos, exclusive content, free project plans and cut lists, and a name credit at the end of my videos. You'll find links to my Patreon and YouTube channel membership in the description box below. Thanks for watching.